Let us begin by understanding what it truly means to act as if you are surrounded by abundance. Many of you may think this is about pretending or deceiving yourself, but I assure you it is far more profound than that. When I speak of acting as if, I am talking about assuming a state of consciousness, embodying a particular way of being in the world. You see, the world you experience is not separate from you. It is not an external reality happening to you. Rather, it is a reflection, an outpicturing of your consciousness, your assumptions, your beliefs, your instincts. These are the true creators of your reality, and when you act as if you are surrounded by abundance, you are assuming a state of abundance consciousness. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Wayne, how can I act as if I'm surrounded by abundance when my bank account is empty, when I'm struggling to pay my bills? And this, my dear friends, is where the true power of this principle lies. For it is precisely in those moments of apparent lack that this practice becomes most potent. You must understand that your outer world of form is nothing more than a shadow or a reflection of your inner world of consciousness. What you see around you right now, your financial situation, your relationships, your health, all of these are effects, not causes. They are the fruits of seeds planted in your consciousness in the past. To change these outer conditions, you must change the cause, which is your state of consciousness. And this is exactly what we do when we act as if we are surrounded by abundance. We are planting new seeds in the fertile soil of our consciousness, seeds that must be universal and grow into the fruits of abundance in our outer world. But let me be clear, this is not about denying your current circumstances or burying your head in the sand. It's about shifting your focus, your attention, your energy to the state of abundance you wish to experience. It's about giving more reality to your desired state than to your current conditions. So how do we begin to act as if we are surrounded by abundance? It starts with your imagination. Your imagination is not some frivolous faculty for daydreaming. It is the very workshop in which you create your reality. When you imagine yourself surrounded by abundance, you are in a very real sense experiencing that abundance now. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself in a state of complete abundance. See yourself living in the home of your dreams. Feel the satisfaction of having more than enough money to cover all your needs and desires. Experience the joy of being able to give generously to others. Make this imaginal scene as vivid and as real as possible. Now here's the crucial part. You must feel the feeling of this abundance. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the freedom that comes with being surrounded by abundance. For it is the feeling that gives life to your imaginal act. It is the feeling that impresses new state upon your subconscious mind. As you open your eyes and return to your present surroundings, carry that feeling with you. Let it infuse your thoughts, your words, your actions. This is what it means to act as if you are surrounded by abundance. You are living from the state of abundance regardless of what your current circumstances might suggest. Now, some of you might be wondering, well, Wayne, isn't this just fooling myself? Isn't this denial of reality? To this I say, what you call reality is far more fluid, far more malleable than you have been led to believe. Your physical senses show you a world of effects, but true causation lies in your consciousness. When you act as if you are surrounded by abundance, you are not denying your current circumstances. You are transcending them. You are exercising your divine power to choose the state from which you will live. And as you persist in this new state, your outer world must reshape itself to match your inner conviction. Let us delve deeper into the practical application of this principle. How do you maintain this state of abundance consciousness in your daily life? It begins with your thoughts and your inner conversations. Pay attention to how you think and talk about abundance. Do you constantly focus on what you lack? Do you worry about not having enough? These thoughts and inner conversations are assumptions of scarcity, and they would perpetuate a reality of lack. Instead, consciously choose thoughts and inner conversations that align with abundance. When you look at your bank account, instead of focusing on how little there is, feel gratitude for what you do have. When you pay a bill, instead of feeling resentment or worry, feel appreciation for the services you've received and for your ability to pay. Your words, too, are crucial in this process. The words you speak are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of the universe. Be mindful of the language you use around abundance. Eliminate phrases like, I can't afford it or money is tight. Instead, use empowering statements like, I always have more than enough or abundance flows to me easily and frequently. Remember, these are not mere affirmations of positive thinking techniques. They are assumptions, states of being that you are choosing to intone. Speak them with conviction, feeling the truth of them in your very being. Now, let us address a crucial aspect of acting, as if you are surrounded by abundance, your self-concept. Your self-concept is the sum total of all your beliefs about who you are. And this self-concept is perhaps the most powerful assumption you hold. Many people struggle to experience abundance because their self-concept contradicts the state of abundance. They may visualize having plenty, but deep down, they don't believe they are the kind of person who can be abundant. They may have limiting beliefs like, I don't deserve abundance, or abundance is for other people, not for me. To truly embody the state of abundance, you must be willing to revise your self-concept. You must be willing to see yourself as someone who is naturally abundant, who easily attracts plenty, who deserves to live in a state of overflow. This is not about creating a false image of yourself, but about recognizing and embracing your true, limitless nature. You see, at your true, limitless nature, you see, at your core, you are pure consciousness. You are not defined by your past experiences, your current bank balance, or the opinions of others about abundance. You are the awareness in which all these things appear. And this awareness, your true self, is infinite in its potential, including its potential for abundance. When you truly grasp this truth, when you begin to identify with your essential nature rather than your temporary circumstances, you open yourself to limitless abundance. Your subconscious mind, no longer constrained by limiting beliefs, becomes free to manifest the abundant reality you choose to assume. So, how do you revise your self-concept to align with abundance? The process is similar to assuming any new state of being. You must vividly imagine yourself as a naturally abundant person. Feel what it's like to be that person. How do they think about resources? How do they make decisions? How do they carry themselves? But remember, this is not about creating a caricature of an abundant person based on societal stereotypes. It's about recognizing and embracing your own unique expression of abundance. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming more fully yourself, a self that is naturally abundant and overflowing with plenty. As you persistently imagine and feel yourself as this abundant version of you, your subconscious mind will begin to accept this as your new reality. And as your subconscious accepts it, you will naturally begin to think, feel, and act in alignment with this new abundant self-concept. Now, let us address another powerful tool in assuming the state of abundance, the use of I am statements. The words I am are incredibly potent. They are, in essence, your definition of yourself. Whatever follows I am is impressed upon your subconscious mind as a truth about your identity. Many people unconsciously use I am statements in ways that perpetuate lack. I am broke. I am struggling. I am always short on money. Each time you make such a statement, you are programming your subconscious mind to create more of that experience. To assume the state of abundance, you must become acutely aware of your I am statements and consciously choose ones that align with plenty and overflow. I am abundant. I am a magnet for prosperity. I am always provided for. I am surrounded by infinite resources. But remember, it's not just about the words. You must feel the truth of these statements as you say them. Your subconscious mind responds to feeling, not just to words. So, when you say, I am abundant, feel the security, the freedom, the joy of being abundant. When you say, I am a magnet for prosperity, feel the excitement of good things constantly flowing into your life. As you consistently use I am statements in this way, you are literally reprogramming your subconscious mind. You are impressing upon it a new concept of who you are in relation to abundance, and your subconscious mind will work tirelessly to make this new self-concept your reality. Now, let us explore another powerful technique for assuming the state of abundance. The practice of living in the end. This involves mentally dwelling in the state of your wish fulfilled, living as if you are already surrounded by abundance. To practice living in the end, you must create a mental scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire for abundance. This scene should be one that would naturally occur if you were already living in a state of overflow. Perhaps it's the feeling of making a large donation to a cause you care about, or the joy of treating your friends to a lavish dinner without concern for the cost, or the satisfaction of seeing your savings account grow effortlessly. Create this scene in your imagination with as much detail as possible. See it clearly. Hear the sounds associated with it. Feel the emotions you would feel. Then enter into this scene in your imagination. Don't just watch it as a spectator, but experience it from the first-person perspective. Be there in that moment, feeling the reality of being surrounded by abundance. Now, here's the crucial part. You must return to this scene repeatedly. Dwell in it, make it more real to you than your current circumstances. The more you live in this imaginal scene, the more real it becomes to your subconscious mind. And remember, your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you physically experience. As you persist in living in the end, you may notice changes in your outer world. Opportunities for increase may appear. Your relationship with resources may begin to shift. You may find yourself making different decisions about money and possessions. These are all signs that your new assumption is taking root, reshaping your reality to match your inner conviction of abundance. But here's a word of caution. Do not look for signs. Do not try to figure out how your assumption of abundance will manifest. Your job is simply to assume the state of being abundant, to live from that state in your imagination. The how, the when, the where of its manifestation is not your concern. That belongs to the infinite intelligence of the universe. Now let us address a crucial aspect of assuming the state of abundance, the role of action. Some people mistakenly believe that acting as if you are surrounded by abundance means you can simply imagine plenty and then sit back and wait for weight to magically appear. This is not the case. Acting as if you are surrounded by abundance does not negate action. It informs action. When you truly assume the state of abundance, you will naturally be inspired to take actions that align with that state. You may feel compelled to start a new project, to invest in yourself, to give generously to others. These inspired actions flow naturally from your assumed state. The key difference is that these actions are not driven by fear, lack, or the need to get abundance. They are expressions of your assumed state of plenty. You take these actions not to become abundant, but because you are operating from the assumption that you are already abundant. This is a subtle but crucial distinction. When you take action from a place of lack, trying to get abundance, you are actually affirming the assumption of not having enough. But when you take action from the assumption of already being abundant, you open yourself to infinite possibilities for the expression and expansion of that abundance. So do not neglect action, but ensure that your actions are aligned with and flowing from your assumed state of abundance. Let your assumption guide your actions rather than hoping your actions will create the assumption. Now, let us discuss the importance of gratitude in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion. It is a powerful creative force. When you feel grateful, you are affirming that you already have what you desire. This aligns perfectly with the principle of acting as if. Begin to cultivate an attitude of gratitude for abundance even before you see it manifested in your physical reality. Be thankful for the resources you currently have, no matter how little they may seem. Be grateful for every opportunity to receive or give. Feel appreciation for the abundance that surrounds you in all forms. The air you breathe, the sun that shines, the food you eat. As you practice gratitude, you are assuming the state of someone who has plenty, someone who is abundantly provided for. This assumption, persistently held, must manifest in your outer world as increased abundance in all areas of your life. Remember, the feeling of gratitude and the feeling of lack cannot coexist. By cultivating gratitude, you are effectively ignoring the apparent reality of limitation and assuming the state of abundance and plenty. Now, let us address a common challenge in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance, dealing with contradictory evidence. As you begin to assume the state of abundance, you may find that your current circumstances seem to contradict your assumption. Bills may still need to be paid. Financial pressures may still exist. How do you maintain your assumption in the face of these seeming contradictions? This is where the art of ignoring reality comes into play. Remember, what you see in your outer world is the result of past assumptions. It is like an echo of what you once believed. Your task now is to give more attention, more importance, more reality to your new assumption of abundance than to its outdated circumstances. When contradictory evidence appears, acknowledge it briefly, then immediately return your attention to your assumption of abundance. Say to yourself, this is an old condition passing away. It has no power over my new assumption. I am now surrounded by abundance, provided for in all ways. This practice requires mental discipline. It requires you to stand firm in your new assumption, even when your senses argue against it. But remember, your senses only show you what has been, not what can be. Your imagination, informed by your assumption, shows you what will be. As you persist in your assumption of abundance, even in the face of contradictory evidence, you will begin to see changes in your outer world. These changes may start small, an unexpected gift, a good deal on something unique, a new opportunity to increase your resources. Do not dismiss these as coincidences. They are the first fruits of your new assumption taking root. Now let us explore the concept of detachment in relation to acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Detachment does not mean you don't care about experiencing abundance. Rather, it means you are not anxiously attached to the outcome or the process of manifesting abundance. When you are detached, you are secure in your assumption of abundance. You don't need constant outer confirmation because you know the truth of your assumption. You don't anxiously look for signs or try to force manifestations because you trust in the perfect unfolding of your assumption. Detachment allows you to enjoy the journey of experiencing abundance without stress or worry. It enables you to take inspired action without being desperate for results. It frees you from the fear of loss because you know that your true abundance comes from your consciousness, not from external circumstances. Practice detachment by reminding yourself that your assumption of abundance is the reality regardless of what your current situation might show. Trust that as you maintain your assumption, your outer world must conform to it. Be at peace knowing that your abundance is assured by the power of your assumption. Now, let us address the role of persistence in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Assuming a new state, especially one that seems far from your current experience, requires persistent effort. You must be willing to persist in your new assumption even when the outer world seems unchanged, even when doubts arise, even when others question your sanity. Remember, the reality you see around you is the fruit of seeds planted in the past. As you assume the state of being surrounded by abundance, you are planting new seeds. These seeds need time to grow. Your persistence in maintaining your assumption is what waters these seeds and allows them to flourish. Do not be discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Do not waver in your assumption if your circumstances don't change overnight. Persistence is key. Return again and again to your assumption of abundance. Leave from that state consistently, persistently, faithfully. It's also important to persist through the doubts and fears that may arise. As you assume a state of abundance that is vastly different from your current experience, your old beliefs and fears may surface. This is natural. Acknowledge these doubts when they arise, but do not give them power. Instead, gently but firmly return to your assumption of abundance. Now, let us discuss the importance of feeling and acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Feeling is the secret of creation. It's not enough to intellectually know that you are assuming a state of abundance. You must feel it. You must experience the emotion of being abundant. What does abundance feel like to you? Is it a feeling of security, of freedom, of joy, of peace of mind? Whatever it is, you must capture that feeling and live in it. Make it your constant companion. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't understand words as much as it understands feelings. When you consistently feel abundant, you are sending a powerful message to your subconscious that this is your reality. And your subconscious, being the faithful servant it is, will work tirelessly to bring about circumstances that match this feeling. As you go through your day, constantly check in with your feelings. Are you feeling abundant? If not, pause and recall the feeling of abundance. Immerse yourself in it. Let it permeate your being. This constant return to the feeling of abundance is crucial in maintaining your assumption. Now let us address a common pitfall in the journey of assuming abundance: the temptation to compare yourself with others. In today's world, with social media constantly showcasing the abundance of others, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. But remember, comparison is the thief of joy. And more importantly, it can undermine your assumption of abundance. When you compare yourself to others, you are implicitly assuming a state of lack. You are focusing on what you don't have rather than on the abundance you are assuming. This sends a conflicting message to your subconscious mind and can slow down or even reverse your progress. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on your own journey. Celebrate your own progress, no matter how small it may seem. Remember, you are not in competition with anyone else. Your journey to abundance is unique to you. Trust in your own assumption and in the perfect unfolding of your desires. Let us now explore the concept of giving as it relates to acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Many people believe that they will give when they have abundance. But this is backwards thinking. Giving is not a result of abundance. It is a cause of abundance. When you give, you are acting from a state of plenty. You are assuming that you have more than enough to share. This assumption, this feeling of having more than enough, is precisely what creates more abundance in your life. So begin to give now from whatever you have. It doesn't have to be money. You can give your time, your attention, your love, your skills. The amount is not important. What's important is the feeling behind the giving, the feeling that you have more than enough to share. As you give, feel the joy of sharing. Feel the satisfaction of being able to make a difference in someone's life. Feel the abundance that allows you to give freely. These feelings are powerful assumptions that will manifest more abundance in your life. Now let us discuss the role of receptivity in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Many people focus solely on giving, believing that this is the key to abundance and why giving is crucial. It is only half of the equation. To truly live in a state of abundance, you must also be open to receiving. Being receptive means being willing to accept the good that comes to you. It means allowing others to give to you, to help you, to support you. It means acknowledging and accepting compliments, opportunities, and blessings that come your way. Many people struggle with receiving. They feel unworthy or uncomfortable accepting help or gifts from others. But remember, in the infinite flow of abundance, giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. By allowing yourself to receive graciously, you are completing the circuit of abundance. Practice being receptive by saying thank you when someone offers you a compliment or a gift. Accept help when it's offered. Look for the ways in which the universe is attempting to bless you and be open to receiving those blessings. Now let us explore the concept of circulation as it relates to abundance. Abundance, like all energy, thrives on circulation. When you allow abundance to flow free through your life, both in giving and receiving, you create a powerful current that attracts more abundance to you. Think of abundance like a river. If a river is dammed up, it becomes stagnant. But when it's allowed to flow freely, it remains fresh and vibrant. The same is true of abundance in your life. When you hold tightly to what you have out of fear of loss, you dam up the flow of abundance. But when you allow it to circulate freely, giving joyfully and receiving graciously, you keep the flow of abundance strong and vital. So look for ways to keep abundance circulating in your life. Spend money wisely but without fear. Give generously but without depleting yourself. Receive openly but without greed. As you do this, you are acting as if you are surrounded by abundance, and your outer world will reshape itself to match this assumption. Now let us address the importance of language and acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. The words you use both in your inner dialogue and in your conversations with others are powerful tools for shaping your reality. They are, in essence, declarations to the universe about your state of being. Begin to pay attention to the language you use around abundance. You often use phrases like, "I can't afford it," "it's too expensive," or "I never have enough." These phrases are declarations of lack, and they reinforce a state of scarcity in your consciousness. Instead, choose language that aligns with your assumption of abundance. Replace "I can't afford it" "I'm choosing to spend my money elsewhere right now." Instead of "it's too expensive," say "it's not in my budget at the moment." Rather than "I never have enough," affirm "I always have more than enough." Remember, this is not about denying your current financial reality. It's about choosing language that leaves room for abundance, that assumes a state of plenty, even when making decisions about how to allocate your resources. As you shift your language, you'll find that your perception of your circumstances begins to shift as well. You'll start to see opportunities where before you saw only limitations. You'll feel a sense of choice and empowerment where before you felt scarcity and constraint. Now let us delve into the role of imagination in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Your imagination is not just a faculty for daydreaming or fantasizing. It is the very workshop in which you create your reality. When you imagine yourself surrounded by abundance, you are in a very real sense experiencing that abundance now. Take time each day to use your imagination deliberately. Close your eyes and create vivid mental images of yourself living in abundance. See yourself easily paying your bills, generously giving to causes you care about, enjoying experiences that you desire. Feel the emotions associated with these experiences, the joy, the freedom, the security. As you engage in these imaginal acts, remember that to your subconscious mind, there is no difference between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience in the physical world. By consistently imagining scenes implying your desired state of abundance, you are impressing the state upon your subconscious mind, which must then work to bring these conditions into your physical reality. Let us now explore the concept of gratitude as it relates to acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion or social nicety. It is a powerful creative force. When you feel genuinely grateful, you are affirming that you already have what you desire. This aligns perfectly with the principle of acting as if. Begin to cultivate an attitude of gratitude for abundance, even before you see it manifested in your physical reality. Be thankful for the resources you currently have, no matter how little they may seem. Be grateful for every opportunity to receive or give. Feel appreciation for the abundance that surrounds you in all forms. The air you breathe, the sun that shines, the food you eat. As you practice gratitude, you are assuming the state of someone who has plenty, someone who is abundantly provided for. This assumption, persistently held, must manifest in your outer world as increased abundance in all areas of your life. Now let us address the role of trust in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Trust is a crucial component of this practice. You must trust in the law of assumption. You must trust that as you assume a state of abundance, your outer world will conform to this inner conviction. This trust is not blind faith. It is a confidence born of understanding. Understanding that your consciousness is the one and only reality, that your assumptions shape your world. As you deepen this understanding through study and application, your trust in the process will grow. Trust allows you to remain calm and assured even when your outer circumstances seem to contradict your assumption of abundance. It enables you to persist in your assumption, knowing that the manifestation of your desire is assured by universal law. Cultivate this trust by reminding yourself of past experiences where your assumptions have manifested. Reflect on the times when you've seen the law working in your life, even in small ways. Let these experiences build your confidence in the process. Now let us explore the concept of detachment as it relates to acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Detachment does not mean you don't care about experiencing abundance. Rather, it means you're not anxiously attached to the outcome or the process of manifesting abundance. When you are detached, you are securing your assumption of abundance. You don't need constant outer confirmation because you know the truth of your assumption. You don't anxiously look for signs or try to force manifestations because you trust in the perfect unfolding of your assumption. Detachment allows you to enjoy the journey of experiencing abundance without stress or worry. It enables you to take inspired action without being desperate for results. It frees you from the fear of loss because you know that your abundance comes from your consciousness, not from external circumstance. Practice detachment by reminding yourself that your assumption of abundance is the reality, regardless of what your current situation might show. Trust that as you maintain your assumption, your outer world must conform to it. Be at peace knowing that your abundance is assured by the power of your assumption. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, let us reflect on the ultimate purpose of acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. While material prosperity is certainly enjoyable and can provide many opportunities, the true power of this practice lies in the freedom it provides. Freedom to be more full of yourself, to express your gifts, to contribute to the world in meaningful ways. As you act as if you are surrounded by abundance, you may find that your definition of abundance expands. You may discover that true abundance encompasses not just material wealth, but also richness in relationships, in experiences, in personal growth, in the ability to make a positive impact on the world. Embrace this expanded definition of abundance. Let your assumption of being surrounded by abundance infuse all areas of your life with richness and plenty. Assume a state of abundance in love, in health and wisdom, in joy. For in doing so, you are assuming the state of your highest, most abundant self. In closing, my dear friends, remember this: you are not bound by your current circumstances. You are not limited by your past experiences with scarcity. You are a divine, infinite being capable of assuming any state you choose. The state of being surrounded by abundance is available to you right now in this very moment. Choose it, assume it, live from it. Ignore the contradictory evidence of your senses and persist in your assumption. For as you do, you are reshaping your entire world. You are stepping into the full power of your divine creativity. Go forth from here with this knowledge. Apply these principles in your daily life. Be aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions about abundance. Use your imagination consciously and deliberately to live as if you are already surrounded by abundance. Persist in your assumption, even when the outer world seems to contradict it. And above all, have faith, faith in the law, faith in the process, faith in your own divine nature as a creative being. For as you master the art of acting as if you are surrounded by abundance, you step into your true power as the author of your life story. Remember, the power to change your reality lies within you. It always has. You are not bound by economic conditions, by your background, or by your current bank balance. You are bound only by the limits of your imagination and your willingness to assume the state of being surrounded by abundance. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding, and watch as your world transforms around you, reflecting the newfound abundance you have assumed into being. Thank you, and may your journey of conscious creation be filled with infinite abundance, joy, and the thrill of manifesting your most abundant, expansive self. Consider, if you will, the nature of your desires. What is it that you truly want? Is it abundance in all its forms? Is it love that fills your heart to overflowing? Is it the realization of your grandest dreams? Whatever it may be, I tell you now with absolute certainty, it is already yours. Yes, you heard me correctly. Everything you desire is already in your possession, waiting for you to claim it in your consciousness. You see, the world of Caesar, this physical realm we inhabit, is but a shadow, a reflection of the true reality that exists within your imagination. It isn't that sacred in a world where all things are possible, where all dreams are real, and where you are the master of your destiny. When you learn to act as if you have everything, you are not pretending or deceiving yourself. You are, in fact, aligning yourself with the truth of your being. Let us pause for a moment and truly contemplate this idea. Close your eyes, if you will, and imagine yourself in possession of everything you have ever wanted. Feel the weight of abundance in your hands. Sense the warmth of love enveloping your entire being. Experience the exhilaration of living your dreams in vivid detail. This, my dear friends, is not an exercise in futility. This is the very act of creation itself. As you sit there, eyes closed, fully immersed in the reality of your desires fulfilled, you are tapping into the infinite power of your imagination. You are at this very moment planting the seeds of your future in the fertile soil of the present. For what is imagination, if not the very substance of things hoped for? The evidence of things not yet seen in the world of Caesar. Now open your eyes and look around you. The world may appear unchanged, but I assure you a profound shift has occurred within you. You have, for a brief moment, lived in the end. You have experienced the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And it is this feeling, this unwavering knowing, that will bridge the gap between your present circumstances and the realization of your desires in the physical world. But let us not be content with mere glimpses of our desired reality. The art of acting as if you have everything requires consistent practice, unwavering faith, and a willingness to persist in the face of apparent contradictions. It demands that you maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not just in moments of quiet contemplation, but in every waking moment of your day. Imagine, if you will, a man who desires great wealth. He does not hope for riches. He does not wish for prosperity. He knows with every fiber of his being that he is wealthy beyond measure. How does this man carry himself? How does he speak? How does he think and feel about money? Does he worry about lack? Does he fret over bills? Does he deny himself the pleasures of life out of fear of scarcity? No, my friends. This man walks with the confidence of a king. He speaks with the authority of one who commands infinite resources. He thinks and feels abundantly, seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. He is generous, knowing that his wealth is limitless. He enjoys the fruits of his prosperity without guilt or hesitation, for he understands that abundance is his birthright. This man is not play acting or fooling himself. He is living from the end, experiencing in his imagination the reality he wishes to manifest, and in doing so, he aligns himself with the creative forces of the universe, setting in motion the series of events that will bring his imaginal act into physical fruition. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Wayne, how can I act as if I have everything when my current reality shows me lack? How can I feel wealthy when my bank account is empty? How can I feel loved when I am alone? These are natural questions born from a lifetime of accepting the illusion of external reality as the ultimate truth. But I say to you, with all the conviction of my being, that your external reality is nothing more than a shadow of your past thoughts and beliefs. It is the fruit of seeds planted in your imagination in days gone by. And just as surely as thoughts created your present circumstances, your current thoughts and imaginings are creating your future reality. Therefore, To act as if you have everything is not to deny your present circumstances, but to rise above them. It is to understand that your true self, your God self, exists in a realm where all things are possible, where time is fluid and where your desires are already fulfilled. When you act from this understanding, you are not pretending. You are claiming your divine inheritance. Consider the biblical phrase before they call. I will answer. This is not some distant God responding to our pleas. This is the promise of your own divine nature, assuring you that everything you could ever desire already exists in the realm of infinite possibilities. Your task is simply to align your consciousness with that reality, to live from the end, to act as if you already possess everything you want. But how, you may ask, does one begin this practice? How does one act? As if they have everything in the face of apparent lack. The answer, my dear friends, lies in the power of your wonderful human imagination. Your imagination is the very workshop where you fashion the images of the world you wish to inhabit. It is the canvas upon which you paint the masterpiece of your life. Begin by selecting a scene, a short, simple scene that implies the fulfillment you desire. If you wish for wealth, perhaps it is the scene of you looking at a bank statement with a balance that thrills you. If you seek love, it might be the feeling of your beloved's arms around you as you fall asleep. Whatever your desire, create a scene that, if it were true, would imply the fulfillment of that desire. Now enter that scene in your imagination. Do not merely visualize it as if watching a movie. Step into it. Be the protagonist in this drama of your creation. Feel the textures, hear the sounds, smell the scents. Make it as real and as vivid as you possibly can. And most importantly, feel the emotion, the joy, the gratitude, the love that this fulfilled desire brings you. Repeat this imaginal act night after night, day after day. Let it be the last thing you experience before drifting off to sleep and the first thing you return to upon waking. Live in this state as often as you can. For in doing so, you are living from the end. You are acting as if you have everything. As you persist in this practice, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your outer world. Opportunities may arise that were not there before. People may treat you differently, responding to the new vibration you are emitting. You may find yourself naturally taking actions that align with your desire without conscious effort or strain. These changes, my friends, are not coincidences. They are the bridge of incidents, the series of events that must occur to bring your imaginal act into physical reality. Do not question them. Do not doubt them. Simply accept them with gratitude, knowing that they are confirmation of the truth you have accepted in your imagination. But what are those moments when doubt creeps in? What are those times when the world of Caesar seems to mock your efforts, presenting you with evidence that contradicts your imaginal act? This, beloved, is where your faith is tested and strengthened. Remember, the outer world is a shadow, a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. It takes time for this shadow to fully align with your new state of consciousness. During this period of transition, you must stand firm in your conviction. You must persist in your assumption that you already have everything you desire. When doubt arises, do not fight it. Do not resist it. Simply observe it, acknowledge it, and then gently return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Remind yourself that your imagination is the reality and that the world of Caesar must conform to it in due time. For it is written, the vision has its own appointed hour. It ripens, it will flower. If it be long, then wait, for it is sure and it will not be late. As you continue to act as if you have everything, you will find that your entire being begins to shift. Your thoughts naturally align with abundance. Your words reflect the reality of your fulfilled desire. Your actions spring from a place of confidence and certainty. You no longer hope for a better future. You live it now in the eternal presence of your imagination. This, my dear friends, is the art and science of creation. It is the method by which you can transcend the limitations of your current circumstances and step into the life you truly desire. It is not magic, though its results may seem magical. It is not wishful thinking, though it begins with a wish. It is the practical application of the creative power that resides within you, the power that is your divine birthright. As we delve deeper into this practice, let us consider the nature of time itself. In the world of Caesar, time appears linear, a straight line stretching from past to future with the present as a fleeting point of transition. But in the realm of imagination, in the kingdom of God within you, time is fluid. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously. And you have the power to select the reality you wish to experience. When you act as if you have everything, you are essentially stepping out of the linear time of Caesar and into the eternal now of imagination. You are selecting from the infinite possibilities that exist the reality that aligns with your desire. And as you dwell in that reality in your imagination, you draw it into your physical experience. Consider the words of Scripture with God. All things are possible. This is not a statement about some external deity. It is a profound truth about the nature of your own being. For you are one with God, one with the creative power of the universe. When you tap into this power through your imagination, truly anything becomes possible. But my beloved listeners, I must caution you. This power is not to be used frivolously or for the harm of others. For in harming others, you only harm yourself. Remember, there is no other in the ultimate reality. We are all one, all expressions of the same divine consciousness. Therefore, use this power wisely for the betterment of all. As you practice acting as if you have everything, you may find that your desires themselves begin to shift. What once seemed important may lose its luster. What you thought you wanted may pale in comparison to the infinite possibilities you now perceive. This is natural and beautiful. It is a sign of your expanding consciousness, your growing awareness of your true nature. Embrace these shifts. Allow your imagination to soar beyond the confines of your current desires. For in truth, the ultimate aim of this practice is not merely to acquire things or experiences, but to fully realize your oneness with the divine. It is to know beyond all doubt that you are the creator of your reality, that you are limitless, that you are, in essence, God expressing itself as you. Now let us address a question that may have arisen in your minds. If I am to act as if I have everything, does this mean I should ignore my current circumstances? Should I pretend that my problems don't exist? The answer, my friends, is both yes and no. You see, ignoring your current circumstances or pretending they don't exist is not the same as acting as if you have everything. To truly act as if you have everything requires a shift in consciousness so profound that your current circumstances cease to have power over you. You acknowledge them, but you do not give them the power to define your reality. Imagine, if you will, a great actor on the stage. When they step into a role, they do not pretend to be the character. They become the character. Every gesture, every word, every thought flows from the reality of the character they are portraying. Yet, at the same time, the actor knows that they are not truly that character. They can step out of the role at any time. This is how you must approach your current circumstances. Acknowledge them as you would acknowledge the set on a stage, but do not let them define you. Know that you can step out of this role at any time by shifting your consciousness to the reality of fulfilled desire. As you practice this, you will find that your reaction to your current circumstances begins to change. What once caused you stress or anxiety may now be met with calm detachment. For you know that these circumstances are not your true reality. They are merely shadows of past thoughts, soon to be replaced by the manifestation of your new empowered state of consciousness. But remember, my dear friends, this is not about escaping reality. It is about creating a new reality. It is about understanding that what you perceive as reality is fluid, changeable, responsive to your consciousness. When you truly grasp this, when you live from this understanding, you are acting as if you have everything in the true sense. Now, let us delve deeper into the practical aspects of this practice. How does one maintain the state of consciousness throughout the day amidst the demands and distractions of daily life? The key lies in cultivating a new habit of thought, a new way of perceiving and interacting with the world around you. Begin each day by immersing yourself in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Before you open your eyes in the morning, spend a few moments living in the end, experiencing the joy and gratitude of having everything you desire. Let this feeling permeate your entire being, so that you carry it with you as you rise and begin your day. As you go about your daily activities, continuously remind yourself of your true state, the state of having everything. When challenges arise, ask yourself, how would I respond to this if I truly had everything I desire? This simple question can shift your perspective dramatically, allowing you to approach situations from a place of abundance and power rather than lack and limitation. Practice gratitude for everything in your life, not from a place of need, but from a place of abundance. Be thankful not for what you hope to receive, but for what you know is already yours in the reality of your imagination. This attitude of gratitude aligns you with the frequency of abundance, drawing more reasons to be grateful into your life. Watch your words carefully, for they are powerful creators. Speak as the person who has everything would speak. Eliminate phrases of lack or limitation from your vocabulary. Instead of saying, "I can't afford that," say, "That's not a priority for me right now." Instead of saying, "I'm trying to find love," say, "I am loved deeply and completely." Your words shape your reality. Choose them wisely in your interactions with others. Carry yourself with the confidence and ease of someone who wants for nothing. This doesn't mean being arrogant or boastful. Rather, it means exuding a quiet confidence, a sense of inner peace and satisfaction that naturally draws people and opportunities to you. When you find yourself slipping back into old patterns of thought or behavior, do not berate yourself. Simply observe it, acknowledge it, and gently guide your consciousness back to the state of having everything. Remember, this is a practice like any skill. It takes time and patience to master. Be kind to yourself as you learn and grow. As you persist in this practice, you will begin to notice a profound shift in your perception of the world. What once seemed impossible will start to feel inevitable. What once caused you anxiety will be met with calm assurance. You will find yourself naturally taking inspired action, effortlessly moving towards the realization of your desires in the world of Kisa. But here, my beloved listeners, is where many stumble as they begin to see evidence of their imaginal act manifesting in the physical world. They become excited and anxious. They start to wonder when their desire will fully manifest. They look for signs and try to figure out how it will happen. In doing so, they slip out of the state of the wish fulfilled and back into the state of wanting and seeking. This is a crucial point in your journey. When you begin to see the bridge of incidents forming, when you notice the world rearranging itself to accommodate your new reality, you must hold steady in your assumption. Do not be moved by appearances. Do not try to figure out how your desire will manifest. Simply continue to live from the end, knowing with unshakable faith that what you have imagined must come to pass. Remember the words of Scripture. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. The evidence of things not seeing. Your faith, your absolute knowing that you have everything you desire, is the very substance that brings your desire into physical manifestation. It is the evidence of the unseen reality that exists in your imagination. As you continue to act as if you have everything, you may find that your relationship with desire itself begins to change. You may discover that the joy you sought in the fulfillment of your desires was available to you all along. For in truth, the state of having everything is not about possessing things or experiences. It is a state of consciousness, a way of being in the world. When you truly embody this state, you realize that there is nothing to seek, nothing to strive for. Everything you could ever want or need is already within you, waiting to be expressed. This realization brings a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. You no longer chase after desires, for you know that you are the source of all desires and their fulfillment. This, my dear friends, is the ultimate freedom. It is the state of being that all spiritual teachings point towards. It is the kingdom of heaven that is within you. When you act as if you have everything, you are claiming your rightful place in this kingdom. You are acknowledging your oneness with the divine, your role as a co-creator of reality. But let us be clear. This state of consciousness does not mean that you cease to have preferences or that you become passive in the world. On the contrary, when you act as if you have everything, you are free to engage with life fully, to express your unique gifts and talents without fear or limitation. You become a channel for the infinite creativity of the universe, bringing forth new ideas, new experiences, new manifestations of love and beauty into the world. As we near the end of our time together, I want to address a question that may have arisen in your minds. If I am to act as if I have everything, does this mean I should never set goals or make plans for the future? The answer, my beloved, is that goals and plans take on a new meaning when you live from this state of consciousness. You see, when you act as if you have everything, your goals are no longer desperate attempts to fill a perceived lack. They become joyful expressions of your infinite potential. Your plans are not rigid roadmaps to a distant future, but fluid, inspired actions arising from your alignment with the divine flow of life. In this state, you may find that you accomplish more than you ever thought possible, yet with less struggle and strain, for you are no longer pushing against the current of life, but flowing with it. You are no longer trying to make things happen, but allowing them to unfold naturally from your expanded state of consciousness. And so, my dear friends, as we conclude this exploration of acting as if you have everything, I urge you to take this practice into your daily life. Begin now in this very moment to live from the state of your wish fulfilled. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the love that comes from knowing that everything you desire is already yours. Remember, this is not about pretending or deceiving yourself. It is about aligning yourself with the deepest truth of your being. It is about claiming your divine inheritance as a creator of reality. It is about living from the understanding that you are one with the infinite power that creates worlds. As you leave this place and return to your daily lives, carry with you the knowledge that you have everything. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. Let it transform your perception of the world and your place in it. For in truth, you are not separate from the world. You are the world experiencing itself through your unique perspective. Act as if you have everything and watch as the world rearranges itself to match your assumption. Live from the end and see how the path to that end unfolds before you. Be the person who has everything and discover that you have always been that person waiting to be acknowledged and expressed. Go forth, my beloved, and create the life you desire, for you are the operant power. You are the divine made flesh. You are the creator of your reality. Everything you could ever want or need is already within you. Claim it, live it, be it. And always remember the world is yourself pushed out. As you transform your inner world, your outer world must follow. This is the law. This is the promise. This is the truth that sets you free. Thank you, my dear friends, for your attention and your willingness to explore these profound truths. May you go forth in the knowing that you are loved, that you are powerful beyond measure, and that you have everything. For you are, in truth, everything. God bless you all. When I tell you to act as if you are the best, I'm not speaking of arrogance or comparison with others. I'm speaking of recognizing and embodying your divine nature. For you are God's own image and likeness made manifest in flesh. Many of you come to these lectures believing that others are better than you, more talented than you, more deserving than you. But I tell you this, such beliefs are nothing but assumed limitations, and like all assumptions, they can be changed in a single moment of understanding. Consider this: when Scripture says, "I am that I am," it's revealing the fundamental truth of your being. You are not becoming the best. You are the best. Your only task is to recognize and assume this truth until it becomes your living reality. Let me share with you what I mean by acting as if you are the best. It's not about competing with others or proving your superiority. It's about assuming the state of being the person you desire to be, knowing that no one can prevent you from expressing your highest conception of yourself. When you truly grasp that consciousness is the only reality, you understand that your concept of self determines everything you experience. If you assume others are better than you, the universe must conform to provide experiences that confirm this assumption. If you assume you are the best, the universe must. And I emphasize must reorganize itself to reflect this assumption back to you. Here's a profound truth that few understand: your present concept of self. The one that makes you feel less than others is just as much as depth as the one I'm asking you to adopt. You weren't born believing others were better than you. You learned to assume this to experience and accepted it as truth. Changing this assumption requires a complete revision of your self-concept. You must begin to live from the assumption that you are the best, not through comparison with others, but through the recognition of your dying nature. For when I say you are the best, I'm speaking of your true identity as pure consciousness. Let me share with you what happens in consciousness. When you truly assume you are the best first, all sense of competition falls away. When you know you are the best, you don't need to prove it to anyone. You don't need to diminish others to elevate yourself. You simply are. And that knowing is enough. Many of you make the mistake of trying to become the best through effort and struggle. But I tell you this, you cannot become what you already are. Your task is not to become the best, but to recognize and assume that you already are the best. This is what Scripture means when it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Consider this, everything you're experiencing now, every limitation, every feeling of being less than others is simply the harvested fruit of your past assumptions. The universe has been faithfully reflecting back to you what you have assumed about yourself. If you've assumed others are better, the universe has provided evidence to support this assumption. But here is the liberating truth. You can change this pattern in a single moment by assuming a new concept of self. When you assume you are the best, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself to reflect this new assumption. This is law, and the law never fails. Let me tell you something about assuming you are the best. It has nothing to do with ego or pride. It's about recognizing your divine nature and allowing it to express through you. When you truly assume this state, you naturally want others to recognize and express their divine nature as well. This is why the command is to love your neighbor as yourself. When you truly recognize your own divine nature, you automatically get others in others. You don't need to compete with them because you understand that their success doesn't diminish your own greatness. Expressing your divine nature means living from the assumption that you are the best version of yourself right now, in this moment, not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, but now, for in consciousness, where all creation takes place, there is no waiting, no becoming. There is only be. Let me share with you a principle that many find difficult to accept. Your current circumstances have no power to prevent you from assuming you are the best. Your bank account, your education, your background, your past failures. None of these can stop you from assuming a new concept of self. They are merely shadows of past assumptions. Many of you say, "But Wayne, how can I assume I'm the best when others are more qualified, more successful, more experienced?" I tell you this, these comparisons exist only in your imagination. And if they exist in your imagination, they can be revised in your imagination. For imagination creates reality. Consider this. Every great individual who ever lived first assumed their greatness before it became visible to others. They didn't wait for circumstances to make them great. They assumed that greatness and circumstances had to conform to their assumption. This is the law. When you truly assume you are the best, something remarkable happens in consciousness. All sense of strain, all need to prove yourself. All fear of competition falls away. You begin to move through life with a confidence that needs no external validation. Let me tell you something about this state of being the best. It's not about being better than others. It's about being better than your previous concept of yourself. When you assume this stage, you naturally inspire others to rise to their best as well. For when one rises, all rise. Here's a profound truth about assuming you are the best. The universe cannot give you less than what you assume for yourself. If you assume mediocrity, the universe must provide experiences of mediocrity. If you assume excellence, the universe must provide experiences of excellence. Assuming excellence means occupying the state of being excellent in your imagination until it becomes your dominant feeling, not just during meditation or visualization, but in every moment of your daily life, your every thought, your every action. Your every reaction must spring from this new assumption. Let me share with you what happens when you truly assume you are the best. Your walk changes. Your talk changes, your posture changes, not through conscious effort, but as a natural expression of your new self-concept. The universe must then reshape itself to match this new expression. Many of you make the mistake of trying to act confident while maintaining an inner feeling of inadequacy. But I tell you this, the universe responds not to your outer actions, but to your inner feeling tone. You must feel your excellence in the very depths of your being. Consider this right now in this very moment. There are infinite states of consciousness available to you. The state of being the best already exists, complete and perfect. Your task is not to create this state, but to occupy it through your assumption. When you assume you are the best, you stop seeking approval from others. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop making excuses for why you can't succeed. These behaviors cannot exist in the consciousness of one who truly knows their own excellence. Let me tell you something crucial about maintaining this state. You will be tested. The world of Caesar will present you with evidence that seems to contradict your assumption. Old circumstances, old relationships, old patterns will persist for a time. This is law, but here's the secret. These circumstances have no power except the power you give them through your reaction. If you maintain your assumption of being the best despite contrary evidence, that very evidence must change to match your assumption. Handling contrary evidence is where most people falter in their assumption of being the best. When circumstances seem to deny your assumption, when others doubt you, when results don't immediately appear, this is when you must stand most firmly in your conviction. Let me share with you a principle that has proven itself countless times. The outer world will continue to reflect your old concept of self for a time. This is not a denial of your new assumption. It is an opportunity to strengthen it. Every circumstance that seems to deny your excellence is actually an opportunity to prove your assumption. Many of you abandon your assumption of being the best at the first sign of failure or criticism. But I tell you this, those very failures, those very criticisms, when met with unwavering assumption of your excellence, become the building blocks of your success. For what you persist in assuming must become your reality. Consider this. When you truly know you are the best, failure becomes impossible. You may face temporary setbacks, but in your consciousness, these are merely stepping stones to your inevitable success. This is how the great ones think. And this is how you must think if you would assume your greatness. The universe responds not to what others think of you, not to your past performance, not to your current circumstances, but to your persistent assumption. If you maintain the feeling of being the best, despite all evidence to the contrary, the universe must, and I emphasize must, reorganize itself to match your assumption. Let me tell you something about persistence in your assumption. It's not about duration in time, but about the intensity of conviction. One moment of complete acceptance of your excellence is worth more than years of half-hearted affirmations. The universe responds not to time, but to the intensity of your assumption. Here's a profound truth about maintaining your assumption. You don't maintain it by fighting against current conditions. You maintain it by remaining so centered in your excellence that current conditions become irrelevant. Just as light doesn't fight darkness, it simply shines. You don't fight against limitations. You simply radiate excellence. Radiating excellence comes from a deep inner conviction that transcends all external circumstances. When you truly assume you are the best, this assumption radiates from you naturally, without effort, without strain, without trying to convince others. It becomes as natural as breathing. Let me share with you what I mean by radiating excellence. When you wake in the morning, before you even open your eyes, feel the naturalness of being the best, not with excitement or enthusiasm, but with the quiet certainty of knowing who you really are. This feeling should be as natural as knowing your own name. Many of you try to radiate excellence through outer actions, through your clothes, your possessions, your achievements. But I tell you this, true excellence radiates from within you do. It's something you are. The outer manifestations will follow naturally when your inner assumption is secure. Consider this. Everything in your world right now is a reflection of your past radiation. If you've been radiating doubt, uncertainty, or feelings of inadequacy, the universe has faithfully reflected these back to you. The universe can only reflect what you radiate from within. When you truly radiate excellence, something remarkable happens. Others begin to recognize and respond to it. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because they can't help but respond to the conviction you carry within. This is why Scripture says, "Let your light so shine before men." Let me tell you something vital about radiating excellence. It must be consistent. You cannot radiate excellence for an hour and then return to radiating doubt and limitation. The universe responds to your predominant radiation, not to your occasional moments of feeling confident. Here's a profound truth about radiation. It affects everything in your world. When you truly radiate excellence, every person you meet, every circumstance you encounter must adjust itself to match your radiation. This is law, and the law never fails. Your radiation affects your world in ways that your logical mind could never conceive. When you consistently radiate the feeling of being the best, the entire universe must, and I emphasize, must rearrange itself to reflect this radiation back to you in the form of corresponding circumstances, events, and relationships. Let me share with you what happens when you maintain this radiation of excellent deviation. People who previously doubted you begin to see you differently. Opportunities that seem close to you suddenly appear. Circumstances that appeared limiting begin to transform, not because you're manipulating the outer world, but because your radiation is creating a new world. Many of you ask how long it will take for your world to reflect your new radiation. But I tell you, this time is not a factor in consciousness. The moment you achieve a complete conviction of being the best, the entire universe begins its reorganization. The time it takes for this to become visible depends solely on the intensity of your conviction. Consider this right now in this very moment. There are infinite versions of you existing simultaneously. There's a version where you're struggling, a version where you're succeeding, a version where you're the absolute best in your field. Your radiation determines which version you experience. When you truly understand this, you stop trying to compete with others. You realize that your only competition is with your previous concept of self. The only person you need to be better than is who you were yesterday. And this improvement comes not through strain or effort, but through assuming a higher concept of self. Let me tell you something about this radiation of excellence. It must become your natural state. Just as you don't think about breathing, you shouldn't have to think about being the best. It should be your default state, your natural way of being in the world. Here's a profound truth about maintaining this radiation. You don't maintain it by affirming it or by trying to convince others. You maintain it by living from it, by making it so much a part of your consciousness that you can't conceive of being any other way. Living from the state of being the best means making it your constant dwelling place in consciousness. Just as you naturally live in your physical home without constantly reminding yourself that it's your home, you must naturally live in the consciousness of being the best without constant mental effort. Let me share with you what happens when you truly live from the state. Your decisions change, your choices change, your responses to challenges change, not because you're trying to act differently, but because these new behaviors are the natural expression of your new state of consciousness. Many of you try to live from this state for a few hours or days, then slip back into your patterns of thinking. But I tell you this, you must make a complete and permanent move into this new state. You must burn the bridges to your old concept of self. There can be no going back, no visiting your old limitations. Consider this: every great achievement in human history came from someone who dared to live from the state of being the best. They didn't wait until circumstances confirmed their greatness. They assumed their greatness first, and circumstances had no choice but to conform to their assumption. When you truly live from the state of being the best, criticism cannot touch you, not because you've become immune to it, but because you're living in a state where criticism is irrelevant. Just as a king doesn't defend his right to the throne, you don't defend your excellence. You simply live from it. Let me tell you something vital about living from this state. It requires no effort once you're truly established in it, just as it requires no effort to be who you currently believe yourself to be. It requires no effort to be the best. Once you fully assume that state, here's a profound truth about living from the state of being the best. It transforms not just your future, but your past as well. When you fully occupy the state, you begin to see how every past experience, even the seemingly negative ones, contributed to your excellence. Many of you believe that being the best means constantly striving, constantly pushing, constantly competing. But I tell you this, true excellence comes from a state of being, not from doing. When you occupy the state of being the best, your actions flow naturally from that state without strain or effort. Consider this right now. You're living from some concept of self. This concept might be that you're average, that others are better, that you need to struggle to succeed. And the universe has faithfully reflected this concept back to you. But I tell you this, you can shift to a new concept of self in a single moment of understanding. When you truly grasp that being the best is your natural state, your divine inheritance, something remarkable happens. All the energy you've been using to compete, to prove yourself, To overcome limitations becomes available for creative expression. You stop trying to become and simply allow yourself to be. Let me tell you something about this state of being the best. It's not about superiority over others. It's about expressing your highest potential, about being the best version of yourself. When you truly occupy this state, you naturally want others to recognize and express their excellence as well. Here's a profound truth about living as the best. It's the most natural thing in the world. Once you understand your true identity, you are God's own imagination made manifest. How could you be anything less than the best? Any limitation you experience is simply a limitation you've accepted in imagination. Accepting your true identity as the best version of yourself requires a complete revision of everything you've believed about who you are. You must understand that your current concept of self, with all its limitations and doubts, is just as much an assumed state as the one I'm asking you to adopt. Let me share with you what happens when you fully accept your true identity. First, all sense of unworthiness falls away. You stop questioning whether you deserve success, whether you're good enough, whether you can achieve your goals. With absolute certainty that excellence is your natural state. Many of you have lived so long with a limited concept of self that being the best seems like an impossible dream. But I tell you this, that very feeling of impossibility is itself an assumption, and like all assumptions, it can be changed in a single moment through the power of your wonderful, full human imagination. Consider this: every limitation you now accept, every feeling of being less than the best is nothing more than a habit of consciousness, and habits, no matter how long established, can be changed through persistent assumption of a new state. This is law, and the law never fails. When you truly accept your identity as the best, your entire world must reshape itself to match this new self-concept. People who once intimidated you will find themselves responding to your new radiation. Circumstances that seem beyond your reach will naturally align themselves with your new assumption. Let me tell you something vital about maintaining this new identity. You don't maintain it through willpower or positive thinking. You maintain it through understanding. Once you truly understand that being the best is your natural state, you can no more doubt it than you can doubt your own existence. Here's a profound truth about your true identity. It's not something you need to create or achieve. It already exists, complete and perfect, waiting for you to step into it through assumption. Your only task is to accept it, to occupy it, to live from it. Many of you fluctuate between excellent and feeling inadequate, depending on external circumstances. But I tell you this, such fluctuation is impossible when you truly occupy the state of being the best, just as a king doesn't stop being a king during challenges. You don't stop being excellent when you're not being the best. You don't stop being a king during challenges. You don't stop being excellent when facing obstacles. Consider this: every experience you encounter is simply an opportunity to express your excellence. Even apparent failures become opportunities to demonstrate your unshakable conviction in your own greatness. For when you live from the state of being the best, failure becomes impossible. When you truly live from this identity, something remarkable happens to your relationship with time. You stop waiting to become excellent in the future and start expressing excellence now, for in consciousness where all creation takes place, there is no waiting, no becoming. There is only being. Let me tell you something crucial about maintaining the state. The world will test your conviction. It must, for this is law. All circumstances, all relationships, all patterns of failure will persist for a time, but these are not obstacles to your assumption. They are opportunities to strengthen it. Here's a profound truth about living from your true identity. It requires no effort. Once you're established in it, just as you don't need effort to be who you currently believe yourself to be, you need no effort to be the best. Once you fully accepted this as your true identity, uncovering your natural excellence is like removing layers of dust from a perfect mirror. The brilliance was always there. It was merely covered by accumulated beliefs in limitation, doubt, and unworthiness. As you remove these false beliefs, your natural excellence shines forth with ever-increasing clarity. Let me share with you what happens when these layers of limitation begin to fall away. First, you stop seeking validation from others. You stop needing external confirmation of your excellence. You know who you are with such certainty that no external opinion can shake your conviction. Many of you have accumulated so many layers of limiting beliefs that your natural excellence seems like a distant dream. But I tell you this, these limitations are no more permanent than dust on a mirror. They can be wiped away in an instant through the power of your assumption. Consider this: every limiting belief you now hold, every doubt about your excellence, every fear of inadequacy was learned, and what can be learned can be unlearned. Your task is not to create excellence, but to remove the barriers to its expression. When you truly begin this process of uncovering your excellence, something remarkable happens to your entire worldview. You start to see that every circumstance, every relationship, every experience has been serving to reveal your true nature. Even your apparent failures have been leading you to this recognition. Let me tell you something crucial about this uncovering process. It happens not through effort, but through understanding. The moment you truly understand that excellence is your natural state, the layers of limitation begin to fall away of the occasion. Here's a profound truth about uncovering your excellence. The process is instantaneous in consciousness, but may appear gradual in manifestation. The moment you fully accept your true identity, the entire universe begins its reorganization to reflect this truth. The time it takes for this to become visible depends solely on the completeness of your acceptance. The process of accepting your natural excellence requires a complete revision of your self-concept. You must be willing to release every belief, every idea, every concept that contradicts your true identity as the best. This is not something you do gradually. It must be absolute and complete. Let me share with you what happens when this acceptance becomes total. First, all internal conflict ceases. The battle between who you think you should be and who you think you're ends completely. There is only the quiet certainty of knowing your true identity as the best. Many of you try to accept your excellence while still holding on to doubts and limitations. But I tell you this, such partial acceptance is no acceptance at all. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot live from the state of being the best while maintaining a backup identity of limitation. Consider this: your current concept of self, with all its limitations and doubts, is just as much an assumed state as the one I'm asking you to adopt. The only difference is that you've practiced your current concept longer, but time is no factor in consciousness. A new state fully accepted becomes just as natural as any long-held belief. When you truly accept your excellence without reservation, something remarkable happens to your entire experience of life. What once seemed like obstacles become opportunities. What once seemed like competition becomes irrelevant. What once seemed like limitations become launching pads for greater expression. Let me tell you something vital about this acceptance. It must be unconditional. You can accept your excellence only when circumstances support it. You must maintain this acceptance regardless of external conditions, knowing that conditions must conform to your consciousness, not the other way around. Here's a profound truth about complete acceptance. It transforms not just your future, but your past as well. When you fully accept your excellence, you begin to see how every past experience, even the seemingly negative ones, was perfectly designed to lead you to this recognition.